Yes, 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 yes. Hey, man, friends, family, Money Flow gang. Today's Tuesday, and today we're going to start talking about the idea of millionaireship from just a philosophical point of view. Like, in order to pursue a path of trying to gain riches or build wealth, like anybody can do this, man. This is the shit they don't tell you. Anybody in America, and probably any other country, as a matter of fact, regardless of age, regardless of race, regardless of financial situation, can begin to implement, take the steps to change their path, their course in life to building wealth and can become wealthy, and which could what? Assist your family. And it's not to do this shit for money's sake. It's to do it for your own freedom. And it doesn't matter where you're at. You just start where you are with what you have, with what you can do, with what you can understand, and you to begin to do it intentionally. Like, that's half the battle. Half the battle is believing there's even a path or a way. Now, for me, what I did was in single family real estate. I just found a very simple blueprint. I went and found, go look at my story right now on Instagram. You know, you might be following me here on YouTube. If you do, follow, click like. I'm just trying to help you both mentally, give you courage, show you there's a path, tell you if someone like me can do it, you can do it. And it's not about you becoming Donald Trump or building, I'm not saying that, right? I'm not saying you're gonna be Steve Jobs of Apple, but I am saying you could take your business, your time, your talent, your treasure, the shit you've been doing, the things you devote your time and energy into, and store them. That's what investments are, is you're keeping what's yours. And so as we begin to look at it from just a philosophical view, like the best thing you could do for your business is have money to protect your business. These investments become the money that protect your business, and they evolve, they grow over time, they compound. And so small seeds planted, every day, these small seeds, every week, these small seeds, every month, these small seeds, every year, these small seeds, over a period of say 5 years, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, grows into a pretty nice chunk, man. And one of the universal principles that more attracts more. And so the more you engage in the process, the more you receive, the more you reap, the faster and the exponential your compound growth is. And as we begin to look at this, and we begin to look at each investment as a play or as a deal, whatever words you want to use, that give you the opportunity over the next 3 years, 5 years, 7 years. Take a mortgage REIT like Anley Capital, ANGC. This is one that I've personally been buying. Why? If you have my book, The Money Flow, you know I trade a chart pattern called the Money Flow Trading System. I don't pretend to know the future. And I think sometimes people think that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying I know the future. I'm saying I know what bottoms look like, and I know what tops look like, except sometimes it's not the bottom. It's just a bottom. Goes down, does a bottom, starts to go up, goes down, does a bottom, start to go up, goes down. And I'll buy every bottom if I have the belief or the courage that this is a quality product. And I don't have to participate in every time, man. So in other words, I could have money invested in the oil sector, say in the XLE, pays a dividend, Exxon, 5% dividend, Chevron pays a dividend, ConocoPhillips. So these things are throwing you off some scratch, man, $100, $50, $200. I only want to buy these when I think they're on sale. And when they're not on sale, I just own them. They're just assets. They're just things I own that appreciate, that produce cash flow. When that cash flow comes in, I set it to drip and buy more shares, which does what? Compounds. And each quarter, I get some more shares as we go forward. There's 4 quarters in a year. We go through, say, 4 years. That's 8 quarters. That's all these shares you've gotten for free. The actual cash flow and the amount of the dividends and the income you're receiving has exponentially grown. And some of those shares you bought lower. So the balance has grown. And you can have stocks, and if you do this over years and years and years, you could be up 2, 3, 4, 500% over time. But sometimes, guess what? You may start, like I just started adding PayPal. Now, I don't think, PayPal's does not pay a dividend, but I do believe the price will appreciate over time as the company continues to grow, as they expand revenues. Over time, stocks go up. And as this stock goes up, I'll be able to make a decision higher. Well, the money flow allows me a way to systematically, a blueprint, a path, a way to do that. And so that's just one of the tools, one of the assets that I figured out along the way as I'm trying to pursue wealth or be an investor or be a person that makes money with money as a side business. So if I work at Walmart, right, I want to what? Take my money and invest my money. If I own Walmart, I want to what? Take my money and invest my money. Why is that process excluded to the poor but encouraged to the rich? Did anybody in high school say, hey, this is how you compound your money? Hey, this is how you buy commercial real estate. Hey, this is how you buy a storage facility. Hey, this is how you invest in Amazon. Hey, this is how you invest in Square or PayPal or Venmo or Cash App. Can you invest in those yet? Right? Those are early placements, and I don't do any of that, but it's possible. The rich get to. The rich get to seed these businesses, right? But they have a working philosophy that you can take money and invest money, double money, triple money, quadruple money. So in my story on Instagram, I showed a house that I bought. I put $13,000 down. $13,243, I believe it was. I put that money down. And then I took myself and I painted it and I fixed it and I worked on it and I hired some plumbers, and I hired some electricians. It took me about a year, a little longer. It was in pretty bad shape, and a bunch of money that I cash flowed over time to build this house up. And then I put it out for rent, and the house has collected $146,000 in rent. And during that time, the price has gone from $49,000 to about $200,000. Now, I signed a deal on $195,000, so I guess that's actually the value, is what the fuck I sold it for. So I'm selling it for $195,000. That's the value of the home. I paid $49,000. Well, that was one deal. Along the way, I bought 15 other properties. Similar situation. Trying to buy them a little beat up. Use my time, right? My talent, what I go learn to do on YouTube. I looked at books, right? My time, but I had to insert myself into this. It was after work. And so I got to take wages, the money I make at work, and I got to put it into things after work, things that appreciate in value, things that produce income or revenue or cash flow or dividends or interest or a payment, a royalty. I need to buy things that are going to appreciate, that are going to pay me money for holding them. An oil well, land you lease, a parking lot you own, right? A storage facility, an investment in a restaurant, an investment in a snack. Like, you got to be about the process of pushing your money into things. And it may not be the same thing all the time. And as you build out your wealth, and as you go forward, and as you learn new things, and as the opportunities in the market change, you can begin to allocate your time, your talent, your treasure into that, trying to multiply 5x, 10x, 20x your money. And as you do this, and as the base grows, all of a sudden you got 10 dividend stocks, right? You got 3 rental properties. You own this duplex, right? And what is this? This becomes a person of responsibility. These assets require your time, your talent, your attention, and your treasure, man. None of this shit is passive. People talk about passive income. Nothing I just described is passive. It's you actively pursuing it, busting your ass, taking the money from what you do for a living, cutting off pieces, investing it so that you can double, triple, quadruple that, because profits are what'll make you rich, not wages. But you got to get the wages into the thing. You got to have the blueprint, the path, the things that will appreciate, that will produce income or interest or dividends. And so you have to push yourself into that. You have to begin to think about it and read about it and take action on it. We have to take action on it. In the science of getting rich, check this out. You must get rid of the last vestige of the old idea that there is a deity whose will it is that you should be poor, or whose purpose may be served by keeping you in poverty. This is some old school shit right here. I don't know that many people have that hang up anymore, but let's just make sure that you don't, that the pursuit of you having more is a good thing, not a bad thing. It's a good thing to pursue and want to have more in your life, to have more money, to become a person of means, of wealth. This is a good thing, man. This isn't something to be looked down upon. These are the people that make it possible for other people to have jobs, man. Investors fund corporations, and corporations hire thousands of people. But without the seed money, without the investment money, most of the businesses you see, there wouldn't be no fucking Uber without investors. There's no Lyft, you know? Now, there was probably Ford. He probably did it without much, but I'm sure he had investors along the way. But most of these large corporations, you see, these are conglomerates. These are groups of people. The Bible says where two or more people come together, there's power, man. You have the ability to do something, whether it be good or bad. This is the whole idea around the money flow gang, like you hear me talking about. These are people of like-minded, man. There's people in New York and people in Wisconsin and people in fucking Brazil and people in Saudi Arabia and people here and people there, all under the same universal collective or the universal mind, that prosperity that was planted in you, that you want to have, be, do, and become more, man. And if you don't think that, if you don't feel that, then you're going to have a very hard time becoming a wealthy person, because a wealthy person feels the need to expand themselves, to take on risk, to be part of the action, to get into the show. Like, okay, just because I drive a bus doesn't mean I can't own real estate. Just because I'm a welder, that doesn't mean I can't own an apartment building and get rich, man. Anybody can get rich. It is a blueprint, it's a process. And even if you're at the lowest level, starting at the very fucking bottom, that is where seeds start. The only person who can't prosper from this message and begin to improve their life is a person that hears the message and says, I do not want to invest. I would prefer to be fucking broke. Now that is a decision that you make, because you're given money and you're given time and you're given a brain. And the millionaire code is money or amount times time, what God has given you. And then yield. What is yield? Yield is using your mind. Yield is finding a path. Yield is like, okay, the S&P 500 pays an average of 9%. So that is an investment. A mortgage REIT pays this. That is an investment. A rental property would pay me this. That is an investment. And if I do that 10 times begins to multiply. And all of a sudden, I got this money machine going. Like, that game is available to anybody. Right? So this month, I'll collect rent on 13 houses. 3 of them are down. So that money will come in. And that money that comes in is like 25% of most of my people, 25 to 30% of their entire income. They go get it and bring it to me because I own their house. I didn't pay a fortune for the house. Like the one that I show you on my Instagram, I paid $13,000, $13,243. And now we're selling it for $195,000. But I knew this would happen. I did this to make this happen. This was the fucking plan. This is the blueprint, man. This is what I talk about in this book. You don't have to die broke. You can go in there and see the house. So in 2005, what am I? How old am I? I'm 35 years old, man. I'm 35 years old. I buy this house. I put $13,200 and I think $43 down. That's 20% down. The house was $49,000. I think I owe some taxes or something on there. It was like right at 50 grand. Now again, 2005, 16 years later. And during this time, I had to hold the property down, maintain it, fix the AC, if there's a roof leak, paint it. Like, I have to be responsible for that property. Or be responsible for the people who are responsible for the property. I got to collect the rent, right? I got to take on all the risk, and I go from $13,000 to $190,000. And along the way, I collect $147,000 in rent. House costs $50,000. I put $13,000 down. So the mortgage was paid off by the tenant. That is the absolute plan. And there's 12 more right behind it. Same plan. Put a little down, collect, create cash flow, tax write-offs, increase the rent, appreciate the property. Make money with real estate 4 ways. This is the absolute fucking plan. What I'm doing right now is exactly what I planned to do 16 years ago. Put 20% down on a house, collect the rent, knock out the mortgage, take the property, roll it up. That was the plan. That's what I'm executing. Okay? No squirrel. Stay the plan. You need a path. You need a blueprint. Otherwise, you can't do this. So you have to execute on something. You say, well, listen, I can't work on properties. Okay, we'll take that one off. You say, well, I can't fix. Good, then take it off. Let's move on to what you can do. You have to start with what you have, with where you are, with what the fuck you can do right now. Because guess what? If a guy came to me and goes, hey, Gerald, I'm in a situation in life now, or they've moved me, situations have changed, life has changed, and I've been doing this S&P index thing. And I've saved up, I got $100, $130, $130,000, whatever. And I found this fourplex. And if I put $80,000 down, I get this $300 and some $1,000 facility. I figured out I'm gonna make about $225 on each house. That's $1,000 a month in passive income that's tax-free due to depreciation on the property. So I'm gonna take this money that when it wasn't right for me, I wasn't doing real estate because it wasn't a good time for me. I didn't know how to do it or where I was. It just wasn't right in my life. But I knew I needed to be about this millionaire shit. So I began to take money from my time, talent, and treasure, what I was doing at my work, my wages, and I began to philosophically push that into something that would grow it, appreciate it, accumulate it, so that in the future, when that deal came available, when I was sophisticated enough to execute on that deal, I would have funds and means to do it. Or don't do it. Like right now, just fuck it, don't invest at all. You are broke. You'll be poor all the time by choice. You have chosen, you've decided that, hey, I do not want to participate in the wealth that is available in the capitalist system in the country in which I live in. I choose to be poor. That is a choice. That's a choice. If you don't have a brokerage account right now and you are a grown fucking adult, you are choosing to be poor. If you're not actively pursuing to be a person who owns property or owns a business or has a skill set that is so valuable that other people are willing to pay you for it, that's an asset. Being a lawyer, a doctor, that's an asset that produces money. But what are you gonna do with the money you produced? You gotta put the money to work. Everyone has to learn this skill. You don't get no fucking exceptions. Because if you don't learn the skill, guess who's gonna provide for you? The people who did learn this skill. You think the poor people pay taxes in this country or the rich? And the rich are the rich because of the information they have. Because you could start in 2005 at 35 years old with $13,000 and put it down, and then 16 years later they give you $200,000 or $195, whatever it is, right? Now what do? What if you put 20% of that down on $1 million property and you come behind it with another, and like the game Monopoly, you begin to roll your money up and your process up because you did it on point, on purpose. Starting as a poor person, making $8.50 an hour, mowing yards, creating the 8th day because I didn't make enough. No one valued what I did. It was simple shit, man. I went to the Army, I got out of the Army, I got no college, no certification, but what I do have is hard fucking work, right? And the ability to think and a desire to want to get ahead. And I know, okay, fuck debt, dude. No debt. I need to invest. This is about me. This is to protect me. This is to prosper me and my family and the people that I'm in charge of. This is how I make my world better. The money that I get to keep, the margin that I can invest, the bigger that number is, time, right? The bigger that number is, amount, and the smarter I am and the better shit I learn, yield. Amount, how much you can put in, times time, the time you do it, times yield, boom, boom, boom. So that number could be $1, $1, $1, and you would have done more than the guy that did nothing, right? The guy that put in $1 in the stock market last month and you didn't is like 1,000 times smarter than you. A 16-year-old kid that put in 20 bucks and you didn't, 30-year-old man is smarter than you. That's how significant the process of execution is. Meaning not taking steps is the worst. Taking even the tiniest of fucking steps produces a push into the universe, a chain reaction, a butterfly effect that can cause ripples that 3 years from now plant the fucking seed that you needed to get the big deal 5 years later when you doubled and tripled up. But you saw the insignificance. You saw it as just, well, it's just $13,000. No, it's not. It's $1 million fucking dollars. To you, it was $13,000. To me, the day on 9/30 of 2005, when I put $13,000 down, I knew for fucking certain they were going to give me $250,000 later. Now, I came in a little light, but I knew, but it's just the philosophy of the numbers. And if you give me the quarter, I can then buy the whole, which is $1 million. And so this gives me the buying power of buying $1 million in real estate in one transaction. And I got more behind them. What is that, man? That's the roll-up, man. We do that in stocks too, but you can't get the roll-up if you don't have a fucking dollar in the account. And so execution on the beginning is essential to everything in the future. Execution. So it don't matter how smart you are, how cool you are, who you are. If you can't fucking execute on these investments, on these deals, on these flips, on these interest collections, the royalties, the dividends, if you can't execute on them, you're frozen, or you've allowed life or time or what other people do to dictate into your life what you're going to do, and you've chosen not to participate. That's on you, man. That's on you. And it's not about age. Anybody 80 years old, hit the button. It's not about race. They don't ask you that on E-Trade. I don't think so. Anybody ask you your color? I don't think so. Maybe. Shit, I don't know. They probably did now that I think about it. What country you're from. You can begin to execute, even in the smallest of ways, man. And it starts a process, a chain reaction, a push into the universe that says, I just decided to be a person of change. I decided to change my family tree. I'm not signing for no more debt. Go fuck yourself. You're not putting me in a situation where I sign debt. I refuse. I draw the fucking line. No more debt. The only debt I'm taking from this fucking moment to the next is me buying a property or me getting this. It's something that's going to make me money. It's not an item that's going to depreciate. It's an item that's going to appreciate and produce wealth for me. That is the shit I'm going to sign my name on. And when you start that, when you say that out loud, when you write that down, you actually get one step closer to actually making that happen. Right? The opening chapter of chapter 3 of The Science of Getting Rich. No man is kept poor because opportunity has been taken from him, because other people have monopolized the wealth and have put a fence around it. You may be shut off from engaging in business in certain times, but there are other channels open to you. So you say, well, I can't do real estate right now. Good. Go hard on the index fund. Go hard on the REITs. Go hard on the oil stocks. Go hard on the consumer staple stocks. Go hard on the shit that can pay you 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10%. Learn about closed-end funds, man. No more fucking excuses. Begin to execute with what you have, with where you are, with what you can do. Begin to execute. So you buy $10 and then next time 20 and then 30, and you just become a fucking person of accumulation. And more attracts more because of the process that you put in play. It's the same with working out. It's the same with learning to play an instrument. You are the only animal on this fucking planet that can program itself to succeed. You can decide what to believe. You can decide what to focus on. You can decide what to look for. You can decide what's fucking important to you. You can decide if there's a God or there is no God. I'm a person of principles or I'm not. I keep the truth or I'm not. I'm a liar. I'm a criminal. I'm a fucking rapist. I'm a drug addict. What am I? I determine that. Me, tomorrow, today, right at this very fucking moment, I determine what I am tomorrow. So where you'll be 1 year from today financially are the fucking decisions you made right now. And then tomorrow, and then the next day, and the next day, and you get to decide to do it smart or to be a fucking idiot. That is your choice. And that's what they didn't tell you in high school. And that shit started when you were 18. And they should have explained it to you then. This world is controlled by money, credits, life forces, units, tokens, property deeds, shares, equities, coins, tokens, cash. That's what makes it all move. That's what makes everyone respond. It is, unfortunately. And because of that, listen, we're going to end here. Whatever may be said of the praise of poverty, the fact remains it's not possible to live a really complete or successful life unless one is rich. And this rubs people wrong, man, because they've decided to simplify things. I don't want to think about those things I could have had. I need to be happy with the things that I have. And while gratitude is at the basics of the book, also is so the desire to have more. Also is the desire to want to be responsible for more. Also is the desire to want to give more. And so through the process, the honorable process of, hey, I want to be a giver. Well, shit, in order to be a giver, you have to have it. So you have to accumulate. And people who are rich can give more. And it doesn't mean rich isn't 10 million, 20 million, 3 million. How about just 30 fucking thousand? How about that? How about 5,000? Some of you watching this don't even have $5,000. Fuck $1 million, 5,000, 10. 25, make it 50. What is the number? What is the number that you get to that you're like, yeah, I'm good, I'd rather spend the rest? You know, for me, I'm trying to get that number to 10 million. And I started that at age 32, looking at the path, reading shit like Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Okay, here's the assets I can buy. That's what I'm limited to, right? Here's what I can do. Job, start a business, combination of both, create the 8th day, begin to invest, understand IRAs, SEP IRAs, tax deductions, begin to understand my taxes, create multiple streams of income, look for the assets, be with where I am with what I can do that day, begin looking for the things to invest in, begin actively doing it, and sometimes it's this, and sometimes for 2 years, maybe it's just houses, then I'm back in heavy on stocks, and I'm back into houses, then I'm using this collateral to buy this asset, and I'm rolling it, and I'm growing the base, but every day it's about the process. It's just part of my life, man. It's not complicated. It's not complicated. It's making wise fucking decisions. It's playing chess with your own life and living 3, 4, 5 moves down the road. What if I don't do this now so that later I can jump, king, crown me. Jump, crown me. And that's not about pushing things off. It could be pushing something off for 12 months, 18 months. Instead of blowing this money, it's buying 400 shares of Uber at $18, flipping it at 47 to put a down payment on a duplex that you sell in 5 years to start buying apartment buildings. And don't fucking tell me you can't do that, because I did that. That fucking play, man, I've done it a bunch of times. And so can you. And you could do that at 16 years old, where you start the seed. God damn, what if a 16-year-old had been buying Bitcoin for the last 4 years? He'd be richer than all the dipshits you see on CNBC and NBC and everybody that makes fun of it and everybody doesn't want to own it. That 16-year-old would have more money than them. The simple act of just buying the S&P, buying ARK funds, buying QQQ, buying just fucking pick one. And if you just, all you did was bought that, you wouldn't do that on a penny stock. You could, but you'd be taking the ultimate risk. But here's what you could do. You could buy some. You could buy some. And this is my speculative money. And so as you mature as a person doing this game of multiplying and buying assets that appreciate, trying to be an investor, trying to grow rich, as you mature at this, you begin to take on riskier things with a level of sophistication. Oh, now I know about position sizes and portfolio management. Oh, wait, Gerald's got, $3 million in real estate. That's cool. What about his stock? Oh, he takes the rent and he puts it in dividend stocks. That's cool. I need to learn about that, right? And I'm not having to lose assets. I only move assets if I'm rolling up in assets. Otherwise, I got to pay for everything else out of my own fucking work, right? You get what I'm saying? And as you begin to grow this, anybody can grow this. We're going to stop the sermon right there, man. I don't want to go all day, man. I'm on your side, man. Hit my bio link. I'm on your side, man.